PJ Masks lore is absolutely insane. Okay, so the premise of the show is this. 3 kids transform their pajamas into superhero suits at night using magical amulets. They get magical powers and fight these other kids that come out of nowhere and wreak havoc on the city, but only at night. The heroes also have a 3-story headquarters filled with various vehicles. We don't know where these resources came from or who is funding them, but we'll come back to this later. Okay, so the heroes have superpowers, but the villain's abilities are insane. Romeo is a child genius who makes increasingly complex inventions to take over the world. Luna can harness the power of the moon in increasingly creative and terrifying ways. And then I guess there's just Night Ninja, who is just kind of silly and gets powers later. His henchmen, the Ninjalinos, are just ninjas who speak Ninjalino-ese, which sounds exactly like Minionese. We don't know what they are or where they came from, they just kinda exist. There was also a scrapped villain named Firefly, who might have been reskinned as Matsuki in season 3. Despite there being zero backstory in the show, there is a backstory in the books. In the books that the show was based off of, the PJ Masks get their powers from spirit animals who protect children from nightmares. The reason they are given these powers, and I will never shut up about this, is to defeat Luna, who doesn't have a spirit animal and tries to kidnap all of them out of jealousy. Why the show doesn't have any type of backstory, I'll never know. While these children are at war with each other, there is no one else awake in Terabiscoville, there is no law enforcement, and no security cameras. No one knows these kids exist except themselves. There are a few episodes featuring daytime people in the night, but it's either because there's a Halloween event or the whole town is, like, brainwashed or something. However, there are windows lit every night, implying that there are people, like, awake inside those rooms. Also, there's a scene where someone is selling merch of HQ. Terabiscoville is just kind of a magical place in general, home to many different magical portals and locations. I lose track of which legends are true or not, because these kids honestly just make up stuff all the time to trap each other. We got 0 lore crumbs to work with until the season 2 episode PJ Power Up, where we finally learn that the PJ Masks' powers come from a giant crystal embedded in their HQ. Note that even they didn't know this is where their powers came from. In later episodes, we learn that using too much power will drain the other's powers, and losing your powers can result in losing all memories gained while transformed. Later in the show, the PJ Masks get new vehicles and a new headquarters, implying that everything they own is made from magic, a fact that is further reinforced when we see their vehicles combine and upgrade and just disappear entirely. Also, remember the spirit animals from the books? In the show, these are, like, kind of represented by the PJ Pets, who are these random animals that come out of nowhere one day and help the story progress, but don't quote me on that. Crystals are a huge thing in the PJ Masks universe, by the way. In addition to the PJ crystal, there are Luna crystals, Moon crystals, Zoom crystals, the teleporting crystal, the Sky crystal, the crystal icicle, the pirate crystal, the crystal garden at the bottom of the moat, and the rock of all power. Crystals are one of the main sources of magic in the show. The rest of the characters are nuts. Newton Star, who gets his powers from an asteroid, is the first daytime kid to be a nighttime superhero. Ice Cub is a daytime kid as well, with animal-themed powers and magical pajamas, but no amulet. Armadillon is never shown in the daytime, but has animal-themed powers as well. Okay, so the PJ Masks get their powers from a crystal. Newton gets his powers from an asteroid. Where did Armadillon and Ice Cub get their powers? It's never explained, but Ivan has magical pajamas, so it's safe to say so does Armadillon. Where do they get these magical pajamas? Where does the power come from if not a crystal? I don't know. The Wolfie kids are actual werewolves, meaning they have daytime forms that we don't see.
And you're wolves? Werewolves! That means we change into wolves at night, right guys?
Duh, Kevin. Of course. When the moon's out, we grow fur.
When the moon's out, we grow fangs.
It's unclear whether they're friends or siblings, but there's this one clip where Kevin says,
I'm telling!
Implying that Rip might be his sister while Howler could be Rip's friend, which would make a lot of sense, being how Rip and Howler have the best friends dynamic and Kevin just kind of tags along. Luna turns one of her moths into a humanoid moth named Matsuki, who she calls her sister. Matsuki is depicted as like a 3-4-year-old, and for whatever reason is insanely OP. Lilifay is a humanoid alien who can travel universes and galaxies in seconds. I'm not even joking. Look at this clip.
The universe is big. What about the other universes?
There are others?
Yes, I'll start searching them. Galactic Big Speed! He wasn't there. Not there. Nope, not there either.
It's insane. She scares me. Gloop the Third is an alien who comes from a long line of planet-conquering aliens. Carly and Kartaka are aliens from another dimension. Octabella is an octopus who's a sea witch and a siren. Pharaoh Boy, who comes out of a random portal in the museum one day, appears to be a mummy, but it's unclear whether he's dead or alive. He has almost no backstory in the show. Pretty much all we know is that he's from the world beyond, he's at least 4,000 years old, and was once turned into a frog for 300 years by an armadillo antagonist named Armadretto. The resemblance is uncanny, huh? Bastet, who is also from the world beyond, was created by magic specifically to battle evil pharaohs. Monkey Goo, the Shadow Peach fanchild, was cursed into a statue for 1,000 years by a sorcerer. The character with the most insane lore in the series is An Yu. An Yu was 1,000 years old when she was imprisoned in a gong for another 1,000 years. Before An Yu was trapped in the gong, she was a dragon warrior training to become a dragon master. She received her staff from the dragon masters who trained her as a reward for becoming a dragon warrior. The sentient staff serves as transportation, a flute, and a magic wand of sorts, as well as eventually becoming the mallet that trapped her in the gong, which was specifically designed to imprison dragons, by the way. The staff is the source of An Yu's powers, but only within the realm of Mystery Mountain. That is, until the power of Mystery Mountain, when An Yu is suddenly able to use magic in the city due to the mountain deciding she can. An Yu is canonically half dragon and half human, as explicitly stated on the website. It's unknown whether the gong froze her aging, but she did mention that dragons live up to 20,000 years or more, so it could just be that dragons just have long lifespans, explaining her child form. An Yu never became a dragon master, most likely due to the fact that she was imprisoned in the gong, which was most likely due to the fact that she staged a coup and overthrew a monarchy. I'm not joking. In the Heroes of the Night DLC, it's stated that An Yu took down a Dragon King by tricking him and imprisoning him in a staff. The most intriguing part about this is that they never explicitly state why she took down the king. So there's a 50-50 possibility of her being either the hero or the villain in the situation. An Yu also mentions an inner dragon of anger inside of her with no further explanation, so it's very possible she was a villain in her former life. Originally, PJ Masks had one location, the city. This changed in Season 2 when they started going to the moon. The moon is a source of moon crystals and the home of Luna's moon fortress. Books about moon magic can be found at the library, and by the way, there is a magic section at the library, and this is brought up casually like it's a normal thing to have.
Okay, plant books. I've got some from the magic section.
Also, asteroids have souls, and Newton can talk to them. A magic portal can be opened in a random alley by doing the forbidden TikTok dance and leads to Mystery Mountain, a sentient mountain that hates everyone. When the portal is opened, this realm can oddly be accessed through the sky and seen floating above the city. There's a pagoda on top filled with ancient magic artifacts and protected by booby traps, but that's a whole other can of worms. Oh, and there's a sticky splat volcano. The Ancient Temple is an off-screen place where Night Ninja and the Ninjalinos train, and it's not part of Mystery Mountain, but it's potentially actually on Earth. Zoomzania, or the World of Speed, is a desolate wasteland in a dimension that can only be reached by light speed. Newton explicitly refers to it as another dimension, but there's a possibility it could just be another planet outside of our solar system, like Gloop, a planet 3,000 light years away from Earth. Gloop can also be reached through a portal that resembles a black hole, and debris of other spaceships is scattered all over the landscape, implying that other travelers possibly crashed there. Ice World is a frozen wasteland which can be reached by, surprise, a portal that can be unlocked with a special key. And plot twist, I'm gonna hold your hand while I say this, Ice World is also the North Pole. I'm not kidding. They reveal in a Christmas special that Santa's workshop exists in another area of Ice World. Oh, and Ice World is also sentient. And finally, the world beyond, where Pharaoh Boy and Bastet originate from. We don't know anything about it except that it's in Egypt and can be reached by a portal, but speculation says it could be an afterlife. One cool thing about PJ Masks is that despite the character's appearances hardly changing, it does not have a floating timeline. This is evidenced by the fact that there are 3 Christmas episodes and Gecko has had 3 birthdays in the series, meaning at least 3 years have passed since the first season. And it shows too! Over the course of the show, the characters mature, and their goals shift from learning how to take turns and share to learning how to keep the moon from breaking in half and survive getting lost in space. Terra Biscoville's exact location is unknown. You'd think it would be in France, but every time the characters travel into space or come back, it shows them coming or going to a different location. France, Canada, America, Panama, and India have all been shown. However, starting in season 6, France started being shown more consistently, I guess. Now that I've got all the wild stuff out of the way, common theories include that PJ Masks is a collective dream or they're kids playing pretend, which makes a lot of sense. So, yeah. In conclusion, the PJ Masks lore makes no sense. It was fine at first, and now they've gone too far. Not one single thing makes sense in the show, and frankly, it never has. Do I care about any of this? No. Okay, bye!